Page 6. I'm supposed to graph this inequality over here. So let me rewrite it over here so we can see both things at once. 2x plus 3y greater than or equal to negative 6. Well, I'm sorry, let me fix this. And one more time. There, that's better. All right, so we begin by pretending this is an equal sign and plug in 0 for x, solve for y. You would get negative 2, negative 6 divided by 3, negative 2. That's the y-intercept. And plug in 0 for y, solve for x, negative 6 divided by positive 2. We get negative 3 for the x-intercept. Since this says could be equal to, we're going to make a solid line through the intercepts. If it was strictly greater than, we would make a dotted line or dashed line. But it says could be equal to. So we make a solid line. Oh, and by the way, notice this is over 3, down 2. I'm going to do that again a few more times so I get a more accurate placement of the line since I'm not using a ruler. Okay. And this is a picture of all the points where 2 times the x value added to 3 times the y value exactly equals negative 6. We also want all the points where 2 times the x plus 3 times the y is greater than negative 6, and that might be the area up here or it might be the area down here. To figure out which one it is, we plug in a point, and if the point fits, then we're on the side to shade. If it doesn't fit, then we shade on the other side. And typically, the line does not go through 0, 0, so we use 0, 0 for the easy plug-in point. 0 for x, 0 for y would be 0 plus 0 is 0. And that would then say 0 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Is that true? Yes, that is true. So the 0, 0 side is where the shading goes, and you don't have to do any more than this just to make it clear where you believe the solutions are. So any point that's in this area up here would do this. 2x plus 3y would be greater than negative 6, and any point on that line would be exactly equal to negative 6. Okay, now for another one of these switcheroo story problems. It says a college football team, blah, blah, blah. They scored 55 points from 7-point touchdowns and 3-point field goals. And if all the field goals had instead been touchdowns and the touchdowns had instead been field goals, they would have scored 35 points. So we make an equation first based on what actually happened, and I'm saying A for the true number of touchdowns and B for the true number of field goals. A touchdown was worth 7 points, so 7 times A would be their touchdown points. B was their number of field goals, so 3B would be the number of field goal points. Altogether, they had a score of 55. Okay. Now for the what if part, where the score is just 35, or the points they had would be 35, the number of touchdowns now becomes the number of field goals. So that many field goals means we multiply that by 3 instead. And over here, the number of field goals is now the number of touchdowns, so each one of those counts for 7 points. So all you're basically doing is swapping the coefficients. And we saw problems like this with basketball, and I think we even saw one with switching interest rates. Now we can forget the story for a moment and concentrate on, do you want to get rid of the A's or do you want to get rid of the B's? It doesn't matter which one you get rid of first. Let's get rid of the A's. So I'm thinking make that a 21 and make that a negative 21. Make that a 21 by multiplying by 3. and make this a negative 21 by multiplying by negative 7. Okay, so 3 times everything up here, we get 21a plus 9b equals 165. All right, 165. Let me fix that light. And then in the bottom equation, negative 7 times everything here, I get negative 21a, negative 49b equals, I'm not going to do that in my head today, negative 245. Now I'm ready to add because I've got the opposites going on. Those cancel. Here I get negative 40b, and then negative 245 and positive 165. I get negative 80, and divide both sides by negative 40. And then what do we have? B equals 2. So the true number of field goals was 2. And if I take the 2 for B and plug it in either of the equations, it doesn't matter. I'm going to plug it into the bottom one. 3a plus 7 times 2 would make a 14 equals 35. Take away 14 from both sides, you get 3a equals 21. Divide by 3, get a equals 7. So, look how the question is phrased. Find how many touchdowns and how many field goals the team actually scored. Remember, A was the actual number of touchdowns and B was the actual number of field goals. So we would say 7 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Okay, that takes care of that. And for number 23, you can multiply this out just the way it's written. Having a lot of issues with this lamp today, sorry. Multiplying left to right, I'd have 3 times 4 makes 12, y to the 4th. Oops, I said y to the 4th and I wrote y to the 3rd. Again, not enough sleep makes a squirrely Steve. 3y to the 3rd times 4y to the 1st, 12y to the 4th. Then 3y to the 3rd times minus 1, get minus 3y to the 3rd. Use that up. Now 4y squared times 4y, that's going to be 16y to the 3rd. I put that right underneath the other y to the 3rd. And then 4y squared times minus 1, get minus 4y squared. And finally, 4 times the parentheses, I get 16y plus 16y minus 4. And now I can collect the like terms, and there's not much. I get 12y to the 4th. Negative 3 and 16 is 13. Y to the 3rd minus 4y squared plus 16y minus 4. Okay, all that seem good. 12y to the 4th plus 13y cubed. Now, another way to do this is arrange the terms vertically like this. Multiply everything by negative 1 and then multiply everything by 4y. Keeping your place values by powers down here. So, negative 1 times 4, I get negative 4, I'll put that way over here, making room. Negative 1 times 4y squared, that'll be negative 4y squared. I'm not going to put it right there, I'm going to push it over here, leaving room for a plain old y column. And then negative 1 times 3y cubed, I'll put that over here, negative 3y cubed. Negative 1 times 3y cubed, negative 3y cubed. Next we multiply by 4y. 4y times 4, we get 16y That goes in this column. And then 4y times 4y squared, we get 16y cubed. Put that in the cube column. And last multiplication step, multiply those together, you get the 12y to the fourth. And now we're ready to add the columns, -4 and nothing, 16y and nothing, and that's a positive, so we put a plus sign, and minus 4y squared, and -3 and 16, that's plus 13y to the third, and at the front, 12y to the fourth. So if you compare the two answers, 12 plus 13 minus 4 plus 16, they do match. And that's the end of page 6.